Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Data Garden course and welcome to Module 5. Our goal for this module is we're going to get into the itty-gritty of how to visualize your data set in p5.js, so how p5 can meet your data and combine. Okay, so what we'll be covering in this module. So first and foremost, we will cover some layouts and visual elements and principles that are commonly used to visualize data. And then we discussed about mapping data story to data artwork through sketching on your own and also building trigger frameworks on a Miro board. So we did this through a workshop. So the first half of, actually the first beginnings of module 5. So to set you guys up on thinking visually about your data story. And so if you aren't part of our Discord community yet, be sure that you are so that you can get notified the next time we run this workshop. But basically, so that's the first piece of the puzzle. Now, from this video onwards, we are going to be diving into reading your data and drawing using your data in p5.js. And so how do you load tables and how p5.js is able to read your data set based on your table, and then using the data that's found in your data set to influence your drawings in p5.js. And so that's what our next videos are going to cover. I guess a little bit about what to expect in these next Module 5 videos. So I'll be using a data set of flowers that bloom in winter. And so this was the same data set that I worked on in Module 4 to give you guys examples about Excel formulas and stuff like that. And so I have my parsed data set here ready to go. What I'll be making out of that is this visualization. So of course, it's pretty basic, super simple dot plot graph, and which represents the colors and what flowers they are if you hover over them, like so. And so I'll basically be creating this, but of course the goal is not to make, the goal isn't to make exactly the same thing that I'll be making in this example, of course, but it's to pick up the methods that I'll be introducing you to along the way and apply it to your own database project. And so that'll be the challenge. All right, and a little bit about where I'll be working for Module 5 to Module 6. So what I encourage you guys to do as well is to download processing. Now, processing is just like p5.js. It's basically the same people who created it and all of that. It's the same ecosystem. It has the p5.js language embedded into it, which means syntax, spelling, structures, all of that will remain the same as we've learned so far, so don't worry. It's just a slightly different platform in that this one is a desktop app, so you install it onto your device rather than an editor that lives on the internet or on your browser. But why? Processing, because it's a desktop app, it's just going to give you a lot smoother and more reliable performance for building larger and more complex projects, like we are going to embark on, which is your data viz artwork, right? So p5.js, the p5.js web editor that we've been using, so the pink one, is really great for getting yourself used to JavaScript, those quick and light exercises that we've been doing. It's built for that, and it's great to kind of start playing around with it. But if you are comfortable, and once you are comfortable, I highly recommend downloading processing, just so that, because you'll be working with data sets this time, and you might have many rows of data and a lot of information to process. And so this will obviously, because it's a desktop app that's installed, it's just going to have a lot of more horsepower to run on. It's also going to allow you to work offline because you can host locally. And like P5, don't worry, you will still be able to migrate your sketch over to GitHub or Visual Studio Code, or to publish your work on the web. So that will still be possible. So I will leave the download link in the description below. To keep your playground wide, I suggest downloading processing. And in the next video, I'll talk you through how to set it up so that it'll be just like working on the p5.js web editor. So before we begin, make sure that you have everything that you need prepared at this point. And so that is your parsed data set all the way from Module 4, a story and a sketch, if possible, of your desired data viz artwork or even some references. And then the third is ideally your data viz map on Miro from our Module 5 workshop. Let's get started.